Hello students, our today's topic is Democracy and Diversity, Class 10, Civics, Chapter number 3. The chapter basically deals with the diversities which prevail in the world and how these diversities are sometimes taken as a medium of division in the world. So the chapter begins with an explanation of a story from Mexico Olympics in the year 1968, where in a 200-meter race, two Afro-Americans and one Australian won the medals. The two Afro-American men named Tommy Smith and John Carlos won a gold and a bronze medal respectively in 200-meter race, and Peter Norman, the Australian, won a silver medal. On this day of pride, Tommy Smith and John Carlos choose to do something to show the world about the racial discrimination they've been facing in their own country. To represent this, the moment they were standing on the podium and the national anthem of America was being played in honor of the victory of the medals, the two men did something which was taken by shock by the world. The act or the action they did was they rose their fist in the air to show the strength of the blacks in America. They were wearing black socks and no shoes, which represented the poverty they faced in their own country, and they were wearing black scarves in their neck to show that although they've been deprived of from so many years, but they hold themselves in pride, and though they are standing at such a prestigious position at the moment, but still their condition is not the way it looks. In support of them, Peter Norman, the Australian, also wore a human rights badge on his chest to show that he was willing to give his support to these two men and he was in favor of the action. The action was taken by the world as a shock and a surprise that a country so big, so powerful, and the people belonging there, the people living there will be facing such kind of atrocities, such kind of discrimination in their own country. Though the action of these three men got the attraction of the whole world, but in their own country they were not treated the same way. The two Afro-Americans, they faced a lot of criticism in their own country, and the Australian Peter Norman, he was also criticized, and as well he was not given the chance to participate in the next Olympics, and he was not chosen in the team for the next Olympics. So although they showed the world their real condition, their real problem, but they had to face the consequences as well. But it's not like they did something wrong. Later on, as the world grew and as it realized that yes, the act they did was correct and it showed the correct motive, later on, to show their respect to these three men about the action they did, to show the world their actual condition, their real problem the world was facing at that time, a statue was installed in the San Jose University in America, where the two Afro-Americans studied in the university campus, to show that they were in favor of the act and they respected them with their hearts. This was one example that we see in the world, that people were not treated as people, they were treated on the basis of their color, on the basis of their caste, on the basis of their religion. And this discrimination affects the mind of the people, and it brings them to think the normal, not the normal ways, but in a different way. It makes them discriminated from the mainstream of the society, and this is what brings the distraction or the differences in the whole world. And this was not just the single incidents that we see in the history. There have been many moments and many revolutions throughout the history that showed the discrimination and people revolting against those discrimination to get an equal right in the society. As an example, we can take the civil rights movement which took place in America, and also the Black Power movement which were done by the blacks or the Afro-Americans of the country to gain equal rights in the society. The revolution civil rights movement was led by Martin Luther King Jr., and it was basically a non-violent movement which took the methods of civil disobedience against the racially discriminatory laws and practices prevailing in America. And it was a very famous act. Martin Luther King put great efforts for equal rights of black in America. Another movement was the Black Power movement, which emerged in the year 1966 and it lasted till 1975. It was more of a military movement which was anti-racist in nature, and a lot of times it also took violent mediums to show its protest against the discrimination prevailing in America. So with this we can see that around the world there have been cases of discrimination on different bases which force the people to revolt against them, and the revolts sometimes also got violent. This violence never resulted in peace. A lot of time it happens that the violence or the discrimination prevailing in the society leads to further more breakage of the society rather than bringing it back or filling up the gaps in the society. So when we talk about the social division and social differences, these are two different terms which we require to study in a separate manner. When we talk about social differences, it is a shorter term in the comparison of social division. A social difference means the difference in a group of people due to their race, religion, caste, language, or culture. Whereas when we talk about social differences, when we talk about social division, when some social differences are joined together by another set of social differences, and thus the difference becomes a wider gap in the society, leading to social division. Now, there are many reasons because of which the social difference in the society prevails. We are going to discuss some of them here. First, let's start with by birth. By birth, we see that the moment a child takes birth in this world, he is differentiated from the others by the gender, by the caste in which he is taken birth, by the religion in which he is taken birth, by the country in which he is taken birth. So the moment a child enters in this world, he is discriminated from the others and he is given an individual identification which separates him from the others. This is in some reasons okay, but in some reason when the differentiation is treated rudely, it is wrong then. Suppose if there is somebody who is of lower caste by birth and contains the qualities of or the qualifications of a very learned, qualified person. So sometimes it happens that just because the person belongs to the lower caste, he is not treated as well as if a person will be treated if he had been a person of a higher caste. Here, your birth differentiates or supersedes all the other qualities in some areas. Especially this kind of discrimination is witnessed in the rural areas where we find that no matter how intelligent you are, how learned you are, or how competent you are, it will finally matter in which caste you have taken birth, or in which religion you have taken birth, in which economic status you have taken birth, and this decides the fate of the child as well. It is not by choice that a person has taken birth into that particular community, into that particular caste. It is not by choice. But in spite of that, the individual is discriminated from the rest right at the moment of birth itself. So, by birth, we also see that discrimination starts the moment a child takes birth into this world. The second point, differences based on choice. In the first point, we saw that a person cannot decide in which gender he will take birth, in which caste he will take birth, or in what economic condition he will take birth. But later on, when the person grows up and starts making choices, then again the differentiations keep on coming to him. Your choices also differentiate you from the others. Like the example we can take that your whole class decides to become engineer and you decide to become a poet. This is your choice and it separates you from the rest or from the main group. But it's not like it is wrong to make different choices, but differentiations do occur. Suppose you decide to change your religion, you decide to choose an occupation which is not, the popular one. You decide to shift to another country. These are the choices you make in the life, and these choices affect you by the way the other people treats you. It's not like you've made a wrong choice or something, but the choices are analyzed by the society, that whether the person is going or flowing with the mainstream, or is trying to pull himself apart from them and take a different route. So the choices also differentiate you, or cause a social differentiation. Another very important difference in the society we witness is on the basis of religion. In India, it is very common, we see everywhere, that people of different religion live together in the country, but the differences are there, of course, you cannot deny it, but it is on the basis of what the society thinks of the differences that creates the division. Sometimes the difference on the basis of religion creates chaos in the country, it leads to riots and all, but it is just the rage inside the hearts of the people. It is not something that people carry hard feelings against each other. But if we see the world map, in fact, we'll witness that the whole world is divided on the basis of religion only. If we come to the Eastern countries, India, or the Asian countries, they are basically following Hinduism, Buddhism, these kind of religion. As we go further more west, we witness that in Iran and Iraq we have Muslim countries, and furthermore we witness that the Europe and American countries, they are all following Christianity. So the differences are there on the basis of religion, and these differences are sometimes not very healthily accepted by the society. We've had a bitter history on the basis of religion itself. We witnessed that the country was divided on the basis of religion only, and it's not like everybody wanted a separate nation just because they belong to that particular religion, but the crack did appear in the relationship, and even now we see that it has not been filled up, or it has not cured completely. So differences are there in the world on the basis of religion. And finally, differences based on economic status. The difference in the economic status of a person, no matter if they belong to the same family, brings disparities among them. Suppose if there are two brothers, and one is a very rich person and one is a very poor person, of course the richer person will not feel comfortable being in the company of the poor person. He will not feel uh, equal to the poor person, and these difference in the economic status, they bring disparities in the societies. No matter if the people belong to same community or same religion or same caste, but if there are economic differences, that difference overlaps the other difference, and they then do not accept the prior social difference they've been having.